And so, Joe, just for mean of introduction, could you just say your name and how you identify yourself right now?
My name now is Mhamed Ellamada.
Okay.
My American name is Joe Nugent.
Okay.
I got adopted, the name got changed to Nugent and everything. And I got deported under my birth name. So now I'm Mhamed Ellamada,
I see.
also
Okay.
known as Joe Nugent.
And when you're walking around outside of your space right now, um, do people call you Joe? Do they call you Muhammad?
Here in Morocco,
Yeah.
all they say hey, that's American right there. American. That's my nickname around here. They all, you know,
You've been tagged the American.
American. They think I'm American. I wish that was true.
Mm.
But that's what they call me, American.
Right. Well, you haven't lost your American accent, that's for sure.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I got that Texas accent.
Yeah.
And
so can you
I don't
just
know.
catch us up and tell us a little bit about how your adoption story, how you became an adoptee, and so the circumstances of your deportation as well?
I came to the United States in 1972. My dad was in the military. He was stationed in Rota, Spain. He met my mom here in Morocco and everything, and they got married, and they took me back to the country at the age of 4.
Oh.
And I got legally adopted. I think it was back in 1977, 78. I was legally adopted. I was like, I was like about 8, 9, 10 years old, something like that. And like I say, I really ain't never thought about it. I mean, you know, growing up in the U.S., and I always felt like I was American. I mean, I went to school. I played with the neighborhood kids. I mean, I had Christmas, Thanksgiving. I mean, you know, played football. I mean, you know, did everything as American. In 1998 is when immigration got a hold of me and everything. And they told me that they was going to deport me. And I looked at them, I said, what are you talking about? You're fixing to deport me. They said, well, you're not an American citizen. I said, well, I always thought I was. I mean, you know, they says, no, you was born in Morocco and you never fully got your document work and all that stuff. I said, look, I was legally adopted and everything by 2 American citizens. I said, that should make me an American. I mean, I was brought up in the U.S. and everything. And they went ahead and ordered my deportation. I lost my case and everything because my lawyer didn't know nothing about adoption laws. Me not being familiar with the law and everything and not understanding what the court was saying, you know, I thought the judge was going to say, no, we're not deporting you. We're going to let you go. But the judge says, no, I gotta remove you from this country and everything else like that. But like I say, my lawyer messed up my case, and he didn't know nothing about adoption law. He shouldn't even took the case. Back in 98, in 99, they couldn't get no travel documents because Morocco wouldn't accept me. Because they said, no, you can't deport him because he don't speak the language and he don't have nobody here in Morocco. That was back in, like I say, 98, 99. So they was unable to get travel documents. But in 2011, immigration got me again. And this time they said, well, we're going to get travel documents. And they finally got some travel documents this time around. And here I am. I'm in Morocco. And
how long have you been there?
I've been in Morocco for a year.
1 year. Okay.
1 year, exactly 1 year. And it's I ain't got used to it yet.
I bet.
And yeah, it's totally different. It's totally different from the American way.
Can I just ask you a couple of questions? So were you
Yes, ma'am.
detained? Were you detained the entire time from 1999 to a year ago?
No, ma'am. I was I got incarcerated in 2011.
Okay.
And 2011 to last year.
I see.
And Yes, ma'am. I went to prison for DWI, and that's what got me right there.
So what changed? Do you have any understanding of what changed? Why would Morocco accept you now that they didn't accept you 10 years ago?
Well, they held me in immigration. They held me in immigration for like 2 years this time. Really, they should have let me go they should have let me go a year, while being locked up.
Yeah.
As far as the immigration officers and everything else like that, they didn't understand what the problem was. They says, no, they're not going to deport you, man. You're going to stay here just for a little while and everything, and going to sign some papers, and we're going to let you go back out on the streets. They said, don't even worry about being deported. But as long it kept going on and on and on, I guess somebody in Washington was wanting me real bad. Said, no, we're gonna get you some travel documents. Trump wanted everybody gone, so they made an exception and they did whatever they could and however they could to get me out of the States. Yeah. As a matter of fact, when I was in Texas, they flew me to New York to see my consulate. And the Moroccan consulate and everything, they was nice. And I went in there and met them, talked to them a little bit and everything, while the immigration officer was right there at the door with the door open. Yeah. And they asked me, they said, do you speak Arabic? I said, no, sir. They said, do you speak French? I said, no, sir. He said, man, he said, I wish you spoke one of them kind of languages because I really need to tell you something. So therefore, he wasn't able to tell me what he wanted to tell me because the immigration officer was right there at the door. They really didn't want to issue no travel documents, and they said their hands was tied behind their back. They had no choice, so they was being forced. I feel like they were forced to issue travel documents. They didn't want to issue travel documents, but like I said, that immigration officer was right there. It was one of them head guys. But anyways, they said we got no choice. Got to sign. So I said, what do you want me to do in Morocco? I said, there's nothing I can do in Morocco. I mean, I don't speak the language. I've been here all my life. I mean, how do I go about, getting employment and, getting a place to live and everything else like that? They says, we can't. I said, is there anybody in Morocco that helps people, that's been deported and everything else like that to help them get back on their feet and everything? They says, no.
Is your mom still alive? Is your mom somebody who could have been a resource to you?
She's got in her mind this notion that I should have took care of all this and all this other stuff. But my thing is this. She brought me in the country. That wasn't my responsibility at 4 years old. And I can't get her to understand that. And she should have did the paperwork. She should have did everything that but she didn't. But I don't hold her. I don't hold that against her or anything else like that, because, like I say, every year the law changes different. I mean, back in the 70s and the 80s and stuff like that, it wasn't no problem. It wasn't no problem about nothing. Right. It just all came about after that 9/11 and all that stuff, and everything just started getting all messed up for everybody. And just got caught up.
How do you spend your days, Joe?
I'm working for room and board.
Okay.
And these people here have been super good to me. I mean, they don't have no resources. They don't have no money. They're barely making it themselves and everything else like that. But they got a good heart. They said, well, you come work at the restaurant with us, do whatever we ask you to do, mop floors, sweep floors, wash dishes, whatever we ask you to do, just do it, and we'll give you a room and let you, stay. So that's how my day is, helping them, to help me, just living really. I mean, that's all I'm doing is just living. I'm not doing anything really. Yeah. I can't explain it. It's just, I mean, this Morocco, if you make 100 dirhams a day, you're good. That's $10 equivalent. That's $10 US money.
You had spoken so passionately about the first days that you arrived, about what it was like your early days landing in Morocco. I was wondering if you would remember that again for us and share what that experience was.
I landed in Casablanca, like I say. I landed in Casablanca, and the police met me as soon as I got there. I mean, I'm looking, police officers all around me. They said, come with us, come with us. But they were saying it in Arabic and everything, so I really didn't understand what they were really saying. But I knew by the body motions and everything what they wanted me to do and everything. So all I had was just a little bag, a few T-shirts, little underclothes, boxers, whatever, and a couple of sweatpants and a couple of shorts, something like that. But anyways, I get there and everything, and they set me down. They're asking me what my name is. I mean, the only thing I got is a piece of paper, a travel document that's got Mhamed Ellamada, and everything, passport number. So I get there and everything, and they're looking at me all crazy, and they're talking to me, and I'm not really understanding. I'm seeing that they're frustrated. I'm getting frustrated, just by looking at them and telling them, hey, what are you doing? I says, I'm Moroccan. I said, why are you treating me? Why are y'all trying to treat me like this? I felt like it was getting time for everybody to leave and everything. So they would just hurry up trying to rush me up out of there after a long day. And they said, well, you can go. I said, where can I go? They said, wherever you want. I said, is there anywhere where I can get some help or anything? They said, no. So I got on the train and I went to the capital, Rabat. I said, well, maybe I can find something to do over there and everything. I had a little bit of money, but it wasn't much. It was enough for a hotel room, and hopefully I could find a job or something like that and get on my feet. But anyway, I tried to get a motel room. And everything, and couldn't get a motel room because I didn't have no identification. I didn't have no Moroccan ID. I didn't have no American passport. I didn't have no American driver's license. Didn't have nothing. So I was stuck. So I'm sitting there, can't really talk to nobody because nobody really understands you and everything else like that. So I wound up sleeping on some benches over there and everything, trying to figure everything out. And I finally figured out, well, there ain't but one way that I can get an ID. And I went to the American Embassy. That's the only thing I could think of. They speak English. Maybe they can help me. Maybe they can tell me what I need to do and everything else like that. So I get there, I'm surrounded. They got a bunch of Moroccan police officers that guards the embassy. Right. So I get up there, I'm walking, and they all just come rushing me. They said, what are you doing? Where are you going? I said, man, I'm going to the embassy. I'm talking to somebody. They said, who are you? I said, I give my name and everything. And they're like I say, they're Moroccans. They don't speak my language and everything. So it's difficult to communicate with them. So they finally call a Marine, U.S. Marine. He comes out and everything else like that. He says, what's the problem and everything? I explained to him my situation and everything. I said, look, I got deported. I'm not an American citizen. I got deported to Morocco. And what I'm needing is a little bit of information or some help that, you might be able to guide me in the right direction. I told him I needed to get an ID, and, for purposes, Western Unions or motel rooms or whatever. And he told me that there was nothing that he could do for me. I said, I understand there's nothing that you could do for me. I said, I would asking you for some advice, what I could do, what do I need to do, stuff like that. And he just went on and on and on and on, talking about you should have did the right thing, you should have got your citizenship. But he finally, he finally said, well, you got to get off the property and everything else like that, or we're going to have you removed and everything. But this Moroccan officer, who was an older gentleman, he was listening to the conversation. He knew a little bit of English, and he couldn't say nothing. So after the Marine says, man, you got to go, you got to leave. And after they searched my bag and everything, I don't know what they were searching my bag for guns or bombs or whatever. They must have thought I was a terrorist because the way they all surrounded me. So finally, man, the officers grabbed me and threw me in the van. I said, damn, well, I done messed up now. So they put me in the van and everything. The old man, he gets in the van with me. He says, look, man, he says, I understand your situation. I understand a little bit of your situation, everything. I'm going to try to help you out. And so he took me to go get an ID. So I went, like I say, I went and got an ID that day, and I was able to get a motel room and, just going from there. But help here in Morocco, nobody wants to help you. I'm not asking nobody for no money or none of that stuff. All I'm asking for is just some advice. It's hard to talk to these people because these people here, they don't speak English, and they just they blow me off because they think I'm an American. It's frustrating. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Morocco might look good on a brochure and everything, for vacation and everything, but it ain't all what it seems. It ain't. I mean, it's good. It's good, visit for a couple of weeks and go back home.
Right.
But,
yeah.
The customs here. Customs here are different.
Have there been any little joys in your life since you've been there? It sounds to me like the cafe owners were people that have extended a helping hand.
Well, they're man, like I say, they're good people. They're poor. They're good people, and just seeing them and just seeing their ways and everything, and how good they are and everything. It's amazing. I mean, you're eating with 10 people, half a chicken with 10 people, so everybody shares. It's just, man. I can't say nothing bad about them. I mean, they're a blessing. I mean, there's no way that I can afford to live here in Morocco without them.
Right.
There's no way. I'd probably be on some bench or somewhere, in an alley somewhere. I don't know. So they was a blessing. So
what's the hardest thing that you've had to adjust to, Joe?
Hardest thing is communication, really, because everybody looks at you different when they hear you talk. So I try not to talk too much. I try to do a lot of pointing. It's like going to these stores and everything. It's like that. First month or so when I was here, I tell them I want this, I want this, I want this, and I want this. But they was hearing me speak English, and they was, they knew I didn't know Arabic, so they was kind of cheating me out of my money, charging me a little bit more for stuff that I didn't know. So I was giving them big bills. After a while, I was giving them big bills, and I just said back and hope that they'd give me the right change back, because if they hear me talk, I knew they was going to get me.
Right.
So it's communication. That's the hard thing. Arabic is a hard language. It's a hard language. I mean, I'm picking up words, but I don't know what they mean. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I have nobody to explain to me what the words mean. So therefore, I'm lost. I know the words, but I really don't know the meaning.
Are you connected? Have you stayed connected with anybody in the United States?
Well, there's a few people. I mean, the first month, 2, 3, 4 months, when I first came here, I had a lot of people, calling me, just keeping up with me and everything else like that. But longer I stay here, the communication just kind of died. People have gave up on you, people, I'm depressing them, I know I am. I'm depressing them, with my problems, because I know they got problems over there too. And we both kind of backed off and everything else like that. So really just a few people, in my corner, but other than that, that's it. Lost communication with a lot of people. A lot of people done gave up on me, which is understandable, you know. Yeah, but it's the way it is. Everybody got to move on. I got a few people I talk to, they're not financially able to help me, you know, as far as legal representation and all that and everything. But they tell me they love me, they miss me, so that's good. That's enough. I mean, what else can you ask for? I mean, that's what it's all about, love. That's where it's at.
How long is your deportation for? Some people, I understand, have a certain number of years, others are longer. So how do you understand your deportation rules?
They never told me. They never told me how long I've been deported for, or when I can come back. They never told me anything. And I mean, you know, I can understand, you know, deport me, you know, from a crime, DWI, assault, stuff like that. I didn't kill nobody. I mean, it's hard, you know, but that's the way justice is over there. But and the government, I don't understand the government. A lot of this stuff here with the adoptees and everything else like that, it's common sense to me. It ought to be common sense to them too. You know, anytime, I mean, I hate to talk about me when there's a whole bunch of other people that's going through what I'm going through. As for little kids that got, you know, brought into the country and everything else like that, and been given the American way and everything else like that. And then all of a sudden, you know, 20, 30, 40, 50 years later, you want to deport them. That's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong. What you should have did is, if you didn't want these kids coming in this country, you should have, the government, not you, but the government and the politicians and everything, what they should have did, they should have said, no, you're not adopting nobody from overseas. That's what they should have did. That way it wouldn't have came down to all this. Because I'm looking at myself. I'm blessed. I'm blessed when I was in the United States. Love the country. Love the people. Love everything about it. And I feel like they should have said, no, you're not coming to the country when you was 4 years old. Maybe my life would have been a lot better here if they would, you know, left me alone. Said no. But here you go. You let me enter. You let me learn everything. You let me go to school. You let me say the Pledge of Allegiance in class.
Yeah.
You let me sign up for the military. You let me do all this stuff the American way. And then 40-something years, 49 years, you want to say, hey, you're kicked out of the United States? Oh no, that's wrong. That's the politicians. I can't understand. Like I say, a lot of it's common sense, and you know, I just hope they do better. If not for me, for somebody else. I mean, it's nobody. I don't believe in that.
Do you feel any connection to the adoptee community at large?
Well, I met the what is it? Adoption. What is that? With Anicia and Chris.
The adoptee.
They've been good to me. They keeping up with the news and everything. And I know what they're fighting for. And, you know, this new bill to be passed and everything. But they're doing the best they can. But like I say, my appreciation, my hat off to them and things like that for doing what they're doing. I mean, that's a good cause. It really is.
Well, at this point, it just feels like all we can do is make space for you to be able to share your story and for us to listen and to witness. But is there anything else we can do for you? You, Joe, how can we help you?
The main thing is if I can get legal help. If I can reopen my case, if I could get a good legal representation to help me with, you know, that would be a blessing right there.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of things I need. There's a lot of things I want and everything else like that. But I would rather have legal counseling. Mm-hmm. And I want to come back to the United States. I want to come back to America. I mean, that's my country, you know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like I say, my dad adopted me, and you know, he was country boy, Texas. I mean, and he was in the military. You know, he did what he had to do for his country, you know, and just me thinking what he probably would be thinking about me right now. I mean, he would be in tears. He really would. Mm-hmm. But like I say, just legal help it'd be a blessing. I think I got deported illegally. Tell you the truth, because you know, I was reading up on you know, that's all I do, mainly spend my time on the telephone and, you know, on the internet and everything else like that, doing research on my case and everything. And one thing that I learned while reading all this, and it says if you was adopted before you turned 14, if you was a lawful permanent resident and all that, and I qualified for all that stuff. I should have been a U.S. citizen. I really do. I just hadn't. I feel like I wasn't represented right. I miss my people back there in Texas. I miss the life over there. I miss the barbecues. I miss the fishing. I miss country music. I miss everything. I mean, yeah. Little things you learn to miss. I mean, I miss everything. Miss working. I miss it all. It was hard. It really was. It was hard. It was hard. But yeah. I mean, how do you describe that when somebody tells you, "Hey, you're leaving the country. You're not. We don't want you here no more." And what can you say? I mean, they take you, they put you on an airplane, they say bye-bye. It's rough.
As a fellow adoptee, I was so struck. We are of the same generation, you and me, Joe. And mm-hmm. to know that you are there having to find your way, and I'm here in New York, therefore, for the grace of whomever, you're there and I'm here. And it's not lost on me that our lives could be so different. We could be in different spaces.
Yeah, but there's one thing I want to say. They might have deported me to this country and everything else like that. Might have ran me out of the United States. But you know what? At heart, I'm still American. They ain't gonna take that away from me. I'm an American. That's me. That's Joe Nugent. I am American. And I refuse to be anything else.